Tremendous performance, and we're going to get to that. Joe Buck Troy Aikman join us now. But, gentlemen, I want to start with the injury at the end of that game that really casts a pall over it, because Chris Godwin is the leader in the National Football League in receptions. But, Joe and Troy, you both alluded to it. Such an enormous, an important part of that community, and has been a figurehead after these hurricanes to help the community. And he goes down late in the game, and Joe, is eerie almost. You said, live to fight another day. And the minute it happened, I'm like, oh, no, you could tell it was bad. I just wonder philosophically, what's the approach? Because you're only down 10. I understand wanting to compete, but it felt like this game had been over long before that moment. I just am curious how you guys land on that.
Yeah, I mean, the same. It was a 10-point game, so yeah, I think you can get pulled into continuing to go down the field and try to get a touchdown, and they already got one onside kick and try to get another one and get a long field goal. I get all that. But no timeouts remaining, and it just looked like this thing was winding down and it just wouldn't end. And, it's just too bad. It's just too bad for Tampa Bay. Their whole season could have changed here with what transpired, with Evans going down early with a hamstring. That didn't look good. And then the injury with Godwin was just not pretty enough that our production truck said we're not going to show it again. I'm sure it'll get out there, and, it just did not look good on his lower left leg.
Right, and that's just, I guess, again, you understand competing until it's over, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They played until there were zeros on the clock. That's what everyone signs up for, and you just wish the very best for one of the great players and good men in this league. As for the game, the Avalanche, and you keep using that word, but that's what it felt like, Joe. I don't know how many teams there are in the league that can absorb a 10-point punch in the face and then say, all right, that's cool. How about we drop 30-something on your head? How long is that list in your mind, Joe?
Man, it's short. It's short, and I think in 2024 NFL, this may be the one that can just quick strike you to death. And we saw it getting down the field, big plays to Bateman. And then the Derrick Henry runs, two of them, one was 39, one was 81 yards. I mean, it's impressive what they can do. But the guy in the middle of it who just keeps growing every year is Lamar Jackson, two-time MVP, and certainly right now leading the way in the conversation for number 3.
Agreed. And Troy, that's where I wanted to go with you. I mean, this is a guy you have company as it relates to that, being the best at the position in the game, and he's been that. And it feels like there's more layers to it and levels to it this year. What's most impressing you about what he's doing?
Just the command of the offense and the way that he's been able to throw the ball accurately. I mean, like I talked about a little bit earlier in the game, I mean, clearly the athletic ability that he has as a runner and the way they've built this offense around him, going back to when Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator, and to see what he's been able to do now with Todd Monken running the offense, and they've gotten better around him at the wide receiver position. We all know what Derrick Henry has meant, but he is the leader, and when you watch him throw, he's reading defenses out great. He's putting the ball right where it needs to be. He's getting the ball to his playmakers, and I think every quarterback would tell you, I've heard Steve Young talk about it, that you come into the league and you've got this gift and ability to run and make people miss, but ultimately you're going to win the championship because of your ability to pick defenses apart from within the pocket. And that's what I'm seeing from him. The game has slowed down. He's got a great understanding of what he's being asked to do, where to go with the football, and he's got good players around him. And then you put up 500 yards against a pretty good defensive football team like we witnessed tonight. So they are talking about how they've got answers no matter what the defense does to them. That's how we felt in Dallas all those years with Emmett running the ball and Michael Irvin and Jay Novacek out there catching the ball. That's what they have in Baltimore, and that's what every team strives for.
Well, you had a pretty good guy playing quarterback in Dallas then, and certainly Baltimore's got a guy who is the ceiling for him appears limitless at the moment. Guys, as always, appreciate the time. Joe, they got a river in Pittsburgh, Monongahela. You could get a jet ski in that bad boy and tool around. You won't do it.
Right at the confluence. I will not do it. You're correct.
I want to watch him bungee jump next week.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done on my tourism trip.
Well, you guys travel safe. As always, appreciate the time. See you all in Pittsburgh.
Hide the ties from Kelsey, will you?
I think he looked handsome. All right, we got the next 5 weeks for these two squads. As Joe mentioned, Pittsburgh's finally going to get into some divisional play. They have not yet played anyone from the North. Baltimore takes a trip to Cleveland, then Denver and Cincinnati visit, and then a couple of road games, including that game against the Chargers. Harbaugh brothers, that's a Monday nighter. As for Tampa Bay, they've got Atlanta coming up next and just got to absorb this loss and those gigantic injuries they suffered at the wideout position.